At this moment right now, since September, I've enrolled just over 100 students. And at the moment, currently enrolled is about 80 students. Revenue in terms of the last just 5 months, we're in about approaching the end of May. So just from January to May, I was just looking at the Stripe summaries and things, and it was on
Yeah.
56K.
Wow. In 5 months. So Jim, man, thanks again for carving out the time here today. I know it's a little bit later for you. There in the UK, we get about a 5 hour time difference. So coming from your side, coming here from the evening hours. But really excited to have you here, man. You've been just blowing it up in your business. We've been so excited for you. Just to give everybody just a quick understanding of who you are, where you're located at, and what your business basically specializes in. Let's just go ahead. We'll start there. We'll build a foundation. We'll dig in from there, man. Mike's to you.
Thanks, Carl. And I'm just thinking back to the last time we did one of these, and it was probably about a year ago as well. And I'm just
Yeah,
amazed at the journey along the way. It's not been easy, but
absolutely.
yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Sajib. My background really is similar to a lot of probably you here as well, like being teachers in the classroom, working really long hours. I was doing a lot of tuition as well. My background is physics, so I taught in schools in London, in the UK, and mainly just a classroom teacher, and doing that. And I did a lot of tutoring as well in the evenings, mainly just one to one. I got to a point where I was just completely capped out with my time and what I can actually do, completely burnt out because I was just tired all the time. But more importantly, I was just thinking, is this going to be my life until I retire or beyond? This is what I have to do for the next 30 years or so. I just couldn't see myself just continuing in that daily grind, really. So had to make a change.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think there's so many of us that can relate to that. It resonates with us because it resonates with me. And I'm glad that you brought up that we did one of these interviews about 12 months ago. And to see the change, to see how much you've grown from that video where it was like, hey, I made my first two sales and maybe generated my first like $3,500 to today, man. Does it seem like a lot of progress has been made in a relatively short amount of time? I know 12 months is a year, and sometimes people say that's forever, but I mean, for you personally coming in here and realizing where you were 12 months ago, how's that feel right now?
Oh, it's been incredible. And sometimes I have to just remind myself of certain things like this because if I compare myself from just a year ago or 2 years ago and see the kind of problems I have now are the kind of good problems I want for my business, And it's been an amazing transformation because I didn't expect to be where I am today. And it's not been an easy journey, like I said at the beginning. And I'm now in a position where I have reached a certain stage where I'm quite satisfied with where it's headed. And
Mhm.
I have changed in the way I'm thinking and the way I'm believing in myself and what's possible. So I kind of had this mindset coming in of this limiting idea of, okay, I just want to be able to just replace what I'm doing in the meantime and just have this as a side thing. And there's no way I can get to the kind of levels I'm seeing in the ads or in people's testimonials, and I could just never compare myself to people like that. But now I'm kind of truly believing it's possible. So it's a good reminder to compare myself from like just a year ago or 2 years ago
Yeah.
to now. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. You've come so far, and I really want to go ahead and like paint a picture of the growth that you've been able to make. Because again, I just already saw someone drop in the Q&A, and it's from anonymous, so I'm not exactly sure who dropped it, but they were like, "Hey, at the Teacher Project, do you teach people how to manage their own tutors?" And it's so crazy, Sajib. We're gonna go back here in a second, but where you were 12 months ago to where you are now, you are essentially doing that, man. You're up in our impact program. You got a team of tutors around you. And we'll be digging into that a little bit more specific. But yeah, to answer your question, whoever dropped this in there, we do, right? You will eventually get to your business where you realize I can't do this all by myself, and you will have to hire and start, trusting others to really lock arms, cast a vision, and start leading people. And that's exactly what we teach you how to do up in our impact program as well. So we'll be hearing all about that here moving forward. But so Jim, just to go ahead, because like you've been here for about 2 years, just real quick, like I know you said, hey, I was in like kind of a place of burnout and stress. Rewind 2 years ago, where were we? And what did that look like just in terms of revenue, students you were working with, and what were the bottlenecks at that point?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was doing full-time classroom teaching, tuition one-to-one mainly with, I guess, at any one point, maybe about between 5 to 10 students. And the additional income I was getting from tutoring it wasn't too bad. It was maybe 1K a month
Hmm.
around that value, but it did require a lot of sacrifice for my time to get to that stage on top of like, what I was doing with work. But yeah, that's where I was at in terms of revenue and time, maybe 60, 70 hours a week
Hmm.
doing that. Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of us fall into that place, whether we're in the classroom and trying to do tutoring on the side, one-on-one, or for me, I was kind of like a full-time one-on-one tutor, but I had a cap on how much I could earn and that sort of thing. And so to hear that's where you started, I think sometimes people see clients like yourself up in our impact program and they're like, oh, they just got it. It's built into the DNA. But man, to see you start at the, bottom of the barrel or the bottom of the totem pole and start building yourself up, right? Can you kind of fill people in where, because you were $1,000 a month before the program, where are you at right now in regards to like just regular, I would say regular reoccurring revenue based on the students that you have? And how many students are you working with right now currently?
Yeah, so again, just by you asking that question, just lets me see the incredible like progress along the way. So yeah, 1K a month
Hmm.
from just doing one-to-one tutoring, about 5 to 10 students I'm working with. At this moment right now, since September, I've enrolled just over 100 students, and at the moment, currently enrolled is about 80 students. Revenue in terms of the last just 5 months, we're in about approaching the end of May. So just from January to May, I was just looking at the Stripe summaries and things, and it was on
Yeah.
56K.
Wow. In 5 months,
Yeah.
56K came in where maybe a year ago that would have seemed like just absolute magic at that point. Would you agree?
I would not believe that. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. Yeah.
And that's like such a great point to realize that at that point, you might not have been the person that you needed to be in order to generate the revenue that you are now. Would you say a lot has happened just in regards to like who you see yourself as, the leader, the identity that you've been able to take here in order to be able to generate kind of the revenue that you are now?
I mean, one of the things that is constantly reminded from whether I'm in the coaching calls, talking to my personal coach, or talking to other tutors on the program is that our growth is never capped.
Mm.
We can never limit ourselves to what we can do, or where we can see our business in the future. And the more you start believing that, then every small action, however small, a failure along the way, or just getting a little bit better with your marketing, or a little bit better with your conversations with parents and things like that. Every
Hmm.
little action over time compounds, and you just get so much better at dialing in those really key bottlenecks in these other areas. So yeah, you can't limit what's possible, and your growth is never capped. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And being able to, there's one quote that kind of stands out like, if you want things to change, you have to change, right? At the end of the day. And, to see this incredible growth that you've been able to have, in just, a matter of 12 to 24 months here, Sajib, going from, hey, I got 10 students to now I'm handling more over 100. I'm going from $1,000 a month to now generating, 10K revenue on a regular month. And I know in January you topped out right at about 15K cash collected, which again, that's even more than revenue there, which is awesome, man. I think one of the things I really want everybody to kind of understand, like I just said, if you want things to change, you have to change. So like Anna, Frank, Omed, I'm just curious, as you were looking at making this jump into the teacher project, I was there too, where I'm like, I have to do something different for the sake of like what I want to build. I knew I couldn't have a great relationship with my wife if I was just stuck doing one-on-one all day, every day, nonstop, 24/7. I wasn't gonna be able to start a family. I wasn't gonna be able to do the things that I wanted to do, being on the ladder that I was. Were you kind of experiencing that as well, where you're like, hey, what's at stake if I don't change? Is that something that was going through your head?
I think that was one of the main motivations of actually taking that risk and
Hmm.
jumping in really, because I said at the beginning I couldn't see myself just continuing with what I had. And you're right. If you don't make that change, who will, right? You are ultimately going to be responsible for making the changes that you want in your life. And I knew, thinking about this, looking at how maybe other tutors are doing, I had no knowledge, right? No knowledge whatsoever. Like I don't know where to start. Even simple things like how do I even set up a business, right? Like little things like that, like what do I do, like what systems do I have to put in place, following certain like laws and regulations. But even that, how do I market correctly, how do I speak to
Yes.
parents and students, and actually show them the value that they can get from joining, well, like one of our programs. So I had no knowledge. I knew I had to seek that out. I knew that I would need some guidance, some
Yeah.
coaching on this, but I was really willing and open to say, well, here's me putting myself out there. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to
Yeah.
put in that extra time to make this change, because yeah, if I don't, there's nothing going to change about my
We're
life if I
stuck.
don't do that.
We're
Yeah.
stuck.
we're
And
stuck.
that's the thing. We almost have to put ourselves into everybody watching this right now, or, if the replay comes out, you have to realize that just like we ask our students to put themselves out there, to try, to fail, to stumble, to go ahead and learn where to step and where to avoid, we have to put ourselves in that exact same position when it comes to learning the skills to get our voice out there, learning the skills to communicate with parents, to go ahead and have the belief in our programs and our value, just like Sajib is saying. So Sajib, just hearing you say that, man, like it brings me so much joy because you have so much more confidence now than you ever did before. And so I know a lot of people out there, and we have already questions that are popping in here. They're seeing where you were, Sajib, and seeing where you are now. And it's kind of like, cool. What happened in the messy middle is where I want to kind of go to next. And so, yeah, looking at where you were at, man. I know one of the things we talk about is just creating a predictable lead generation engine, right? Something that can predictably bring you leads coming in and help you fill your classes, right? Because again, you don't want people all over the place. You want to be able to fill your unique classes. So I was just wondering, man, based on, and we can dig into this and we'll dig into some of these questions here in the rapid fire area. So Omed, Ruben, we'll definitely go ahead and hash these out here in a second. But Sajib, what would you say about what you had to do in order to kind of start creating that lead generation engine for yourself and for your business?
Okay, first of all, I think when I joined 2 years ago, the training has definitely upgraded since then. And I know teachers who are coming in now are able to just get things up and running so quickly. So, first of all, just trusting that process of a step by step, like it
Mm-hmm.
tells you how to do that, right? What are your first few important steps that you need to focus on? So, that was really valuable to me to know that there's 100 things in my mind that I need to be thinking about, but where do I start first? And one of the very first things I had to work on was my actual signature tutoring offer, my STO. Like, what do I need to narrow down on? Because obviously from marketing we've learned that the more you niche down on a specific problem that you have created something to solve, the more appealing and irresistible your offer is going to look to the market. So that was the very first thing that I'd worked on, and I just carved out a really good offer. And then from then on, it's just about, like you said, trying to build out a marketing engine of like bringing in leads consistently. So I'm really happy to say that right now it's so predictable that all I need to do is just adjust the budget a little bit depending on how many leads I want coming in. So just by changing the budget a little bit higher, I could get more leads and fill my calendar. So I'm
Yep.
at a point now where I might need to even limit the budget so I don't get too many leads that I can't fulfill through bookings. And to say that as a problem is just amazing, right? Because initially it's always difficult to actually bring the leads in. But like you said, if you can really pinpoint exactly what that problem is, really speak to that audience and build out your ads based on that, you can get really predictable lead flow coming through.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We call it return on ad spend or ROAS, right? ROAS. And so if you think about it, when you first kind of put ads out there, it's really like your billboard out on the side of the highway, right? And when you first get your first ad out there, I think a lot of people have expectations like, oh, my first ad's going to kill it, right? But we have to realize there comes a lot of optimization, some trial, some tweaking to go ahead and find the right messaging. Like Sajib was saying, hey, I need to niche down. I don't want to be a jack of all trades because, again, then I'm a commodity. I want to go ahead and speak to that specific parent, that specific student that's stuck on that specific problem. Because, again, when we think about moving from one on one to group, you do not want to be attracting people from every age group and every subject because it makes it hard to go ahead and group them together. Was that something that you struggled with as well, Sajib, when you were kind of trying to kind of get things set up from like a group standpoint?
Yeah, for sure. Like when I was trying to figure out, well, what kind of student do I want? Not only did I obviously narrow down on a specific subject. So, I've taught loads of subjects before. I've taught maths, I've taught science, even computer science and things like that. But I thought, let me focus on physics because that's
Hmm.
like my expertise. Let me just focus on that. And even then, I focused on not just physics as a subject, but as a specific age group, a specific problem. So even narrowing down that audience has been really helpful. So my ads had to be continuously adjusted to really speak to a specific student that I wanted on my programs. And then
Yep,
when the parent heard those things that I'm saying in the ad, they're like, oh, that's exactly like what I'm going through. And then
absolutely.
they click on the link. And then that's it. You've captured that lead. And then there's obviously training on how to then follow up with that lead correctly to get them booked in and start a conversation.
I love that. And you know what, guys? The crazy part, because I'm seeing some of your questions in here, is that so many of us like put these restrictions in front of us to stop us from getting our word out there. I see everybody asking about, do I have to set up an LLC before I like do that? The answer is no. Okay. All you really need is a business bank account. You open up a business bank account, you got cash coming in, expenses going out. You can operate as a sole proprietorship, right? Just under your doing business as your first name or your social security number. And then eventually, once you get things up and running, you can definitely go ahead and set up an LLC. Or if you want to set up, I know somebody asked, like, do you pay yourself as an employee? Eventually, guys, for tax purposes, and please ask an accountant. I am not an accountant, but you could set up like an S corp in the US, which essentially allows you to be an employee. You pay yourself a base salary from there and take different distributions, which is how I have things set up. But in the beginning, you do not have to have any of that set up. This is about getting your word out. This is about being able to solve a problem, get people to pay you. You do not need those things set up in the beginning. Don't put those blocks in front of you until you're ready to take that step. Another question, just speaking about leads and that sort of thing, Omed asked Sajib, are there peak months? Do you get more students at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, in the summer? Does it fluctuate? What can you tell the guys about that? And how we basically try to kind of avoid peaks and valleys, but to try to normalize things long term. What advice can you give to them?
I think all I can say to that is there are peak months if you believe there are peak months, right? So
Yeah,
if you that's another limiting kind of position to have yourself. So I need to just get more mushrooms at this time of year because that's when I think it's going to be in demand and not in this time of year. But that's one thing I've actually only recently learned. It is down to you really of at that time of year, you're thinking maybe it's not as popular, but then if you market it in the way that actually works, you can actually have a consistent lead flow all through the year. Parents are having problems with whatever the issue might be with their child
exactly.
on that topic all year round. It's not just in a particular period of time.
I'll just add to that as well, because I think it's a great question, Omed. The fact that what Sajib said is that people have different problems at different parts of the year, right? So let's say the end of the year or end of the semester, students are coming up on exams or final year tests, and everybody's stressing out about passing those tests. Hey, there's a problem that can be solved. Students go into the summer, all of a sudden, parents might be thinking about a different problem. How do I help my student get ready and prepared to start next year feeling confident, secure, prepared? That's a whole nother problem, right? Coming in, after Christmas, how do you shake off the cobwebs over the holiday season so that you're ready to rock and roll and that you're not having your student bomb the first test at the beginning of the year? Another problem, right? And your parents, as you speak to them, are going to give you more and more problems in their specific language that you're going to be able to inject into your marketing and push forward from there. So, Omed, I hope that answers your question, man. Most of it's just a limiting belief we put on ourselves. And if we're getting after it and we want to solve problems, you are going to have students at the end of the day, which I love. Another thing that I really wanted to dig in here with you, Sajib, was this whole idea of sales and pricing. Because we talked a little bit about the lead generation and getting the ads up and running and optimizing and trying to do that. And yes, the teacher project and the coaching that we have here, it is by far the best out there, guys. If you want to learn how to do that systematically and learn how to make decisions based on data instead of your feelings, the teacher project's the place to go. But in addition to lead generation, we have to also learn about sales, right? And sales comes down to positioning and being able to go ahead and price your programs accordingly. And I think that also has to deal with belief in the beginning. Can you kind of share with people just kind of the story that maybe you've walked through, Sajib, in regards to pricing and how that's evolved over the last 12 to 18 months for you and your physics program?
Yeah, sure. I mean, initially, again, I brought on with the mindset of this is what it looks like to me at the moment. I charge per hour. Okay, that's the way things are. And I look at what tutors are charging per hour, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the price I need to be charging. But it's not an per hour way of operating. I think what we are doing here when we're having these conversations with parents is that they are desperately trying to find a solution to their
Mm,
problem, and they want to be really heard on that you really understand what they're going through, what their goals are, what it would mean for them if they didn't, solve this issue. So you're really getting to their level, having those deeper conversations with them. And when they hear someone talk to them and ask them these questions, that not only just challenges their thinking on things, but also gets them to see that the way I'm asking these questions to the parents is I'm getting them to be in the position of I am the action taker for my child. I'm the one who's going to be able to make this decision to change their life, really. So there has been a lot in learning how to do that. Initially, I was just like, I know we had the training on like the scripts and things like that.
yeah.
But after a number of these calls. And again, you're not going to get good at this in one call. You're not going to get good at this in 10 calls. It's going to take hundreds of these to really like refine your language and the way you speak to your parents. And you'll learn that from having these conversations over and over again. So I'm still learning this. I'm still finding ways of doing things a little bit better. And luckily, by being in a community of teachers who are doing this day in, day out, learning about the objections that you might get, learning about some of the strategies that they've used in their follow-up, I'm getting better at this all the time.
I love that. Guys, so much of this comes down to belief in terms of pricing and what you want to go ahead and say, hey, this is what I'm going to ask for my program. I can remember the first group program I ran was an algebra class. It was a 6-week class. And I remember just saying the price, this is $750 to go ahead and get your students set up in our program. And I had to choke down that number because I had never said it before. But as you start getting students into your programs, you start to realize the value that you have, how, the pricing is just a number at the end of the day. And you know what? If I can confidently show a parent that I can get them from point A to point B, that I get results on a regular basis, there is no reason I can't charge 1,000. I can't charge 1,200. I can't charge 1,500, 1,800, 2,100, 2,800, whatever it may be. It comes down to me being a leader on that sales call. And Sajib, I've seen you become a leader, not just in sales calls, man, but also as the leader of your team, right? And I think that as we're looking at that, guys, so much of what it means to go into business really does come down to the leadership role that we take. Someone asked in the questions here, Sajib, they said, where do you hire teachers? Do you have difficulty retaining teachers? Are they qualified teachers? Does it matter? How much do you pay them? There's a lot of questions in there from JCT, but I think the main thing is realizing a core principle here. Can you speak a little bit, Sajib, just in regards to maybe the mental blocks it took to go from being a solo person to having a team? And then what does it take to really cast vision and get people wanting to stay and get excited about, being on your team so they're not just flaking left, right, and center?
Luckily, I had a lot of support on this with the coaching and from yourself, Kyle, as well, actually, when I was hiring. And the short answer really is you have to be really clear on your own kind of vision, mission, and goals. Like if you have a really good idea of where you see yourself in that future and what you're trying to create here, you need to bring someone on board that believes in that as well, who shares the same values as you, who shares the same goals and ambitions when it comes to what they want to achieve here. So when I was thinking of the hiring process, I wasn't just looking at credentials. A lot of the times we're thinking, oh, we need a tutor who's got this much experience, who could do this, who could do that. But really, I was looking for someone who could come on and be almost like a partner in this business, who's going to grow with me, and showing them that this is how much I care about them and value them in this growth. And luckily, there is some training on the process and how you hire. I just simply did it online through Indeed. Indeed is obviously a really popular one that you could just put an ad out on. And the way you then set that up and actually put that out there is similar to the way we'd get our ideal students, right? We think about our ideal, tutor that we want to work with, and then, market it in that same way. So I don't want to go obviously in a lot of detail in all the steps and everything, but that's my thinking behind it.
Yeah, I love that. It was a great answer. And again, JCT, we just had people up in our impact program, which again is designed to help our clients learn how to hire, build teams, systemize their process, really move them out of a place of delivery and into more of a marketing sales role. But we just had somebody put out a post on Indeed, and there is, let me tell you, no shortage of teachers and educators and tutors out there. She made one post and got 130 people that applied to be a part of her business. Talk about being in a power position at that point to go ahead and weed through candidates and be like, I want the best of the best of the best. And again, that's the beauty of putting yourself in a business role and saying, I'm going to start my own thing instead of just being an employee and saying, I'm going to apply, because guess what? There is an abundance of teachers out there, but there's only a few brave ones, bold ones that want to go ahead and say, I'm going to build something great here moving forward, which is awesome.
Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps what I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me, but I know you're going to love it. Teaching on your own terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments and go and pick up your copy today.
All right. So yeah, guys, if you're looking at that, again, whether someone is, I'm just JCT, just to finish this response, qualified teacher. What does that mean, man? Is a qualified teacher somebody with a degree? Is a qualified teacher somebody that can sit with somebody and listen and understand and move people forward? I don't have a teaching degree, but I'm a hell of a great teacher, right? And so it's amazing the people that you can go ahead and find online that are just going to be in love with your vision. And you got to learn how to step into that leadership role and do that. But that's exactly what we do here, guys. When I think about the teacher project as a whole, we're going to open it up for some Q&A here in a second, because I just really want you guys to rapid fire here. But when we look at our programs here at the teacher project, our group launch accelerator program, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, is really designed to teach you guys how to get the basics of marketing, sales, and fulfillment. How do I get my voice out there? How do I get people on a call and enroll students? And how do I get great results? And then we have what we call our Ascension program. That's all about, hey, how can I go ahead and create reoccurring revenue? How do I go ahead and take those current students, resell them again, and keep them on as regular students in my program, while at the same time starting to make those first initial hires, like a virtual assistant, maybe another tutor to help you with your programs. And then our Impact program is our upper level tier that helps you work on your leadership and management skills, learn how to hire bigger teams, learn how to manage, learn how to systematize different things, and do more advanced marketing and sales so you can keep everything running smoothly, which is great. So if you guys are interested in what we have going on here at the Teacher Project, and again, I'm going to be going through our group launch accelerator here in a second, but I'm just going to drop this link down here now, guys, because I know some people have to jump and that sort of thing. But if you guys are interested in whether or not we can go ahead and help you get your business up and off the ground and give you kind of that coaching that you need to take those next steps, click the link down below. You can go ahead, book a time with one of our team members. We'd be happy to speak with you. And again, we always say facts are your friends, right? Get the facts, see if it's something that can help you, and we'll see if we're in a position to go ahead and help you as well. Let's open it up for some questions here, guys, and then we'll go ahead and jump in to the back half of our session. But we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire here, Sajib. So we'll see how many questions pop in. Feel free, guys. You can use the chat, you can use the Q&A feature, whichever ones that you want. Mutmena says, what school ages are targets in this kind of project? Sajib, you want to handle that one, man? Is there any age groups? Is there any specific subjects that this does not work for? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the question. Does she mean as in what you guys help with, or just generally is there a target? Or what? I don't think so, because I'm seeing tutors in this community who are doing all sorts of offers. You know, it's not just school-based subjects. There are tutors who are teaching like musical instruments and languages, or how to, I think I saw someone who, or like making computer games. There's all sorts of different offers, and that's open to any age group really. But the point is you're specifically narrowing down to a particular student that you want to work with, and normally it is narrowing down a certain age group as well.
Yeah, and guys, just so that everybody knows, I always look at it as if you're an educator, a teacher, a tutor, you have a passion for teaching somebody an academic subject, right? That could be reading, that could be science, maybe chemistry, physics, biology, anatomy. Maybe you're in the math space and you like working with elementary school kids on the basics. Maybe you're in the middle school, algebra, geometry space. Maybe you're like me, I'm in the test prep space, ACT, SAT, GRE. Maybe you're in GCSEs, A levels in the UK. Whatever you guys are in, if you have a passion for teaching and there's a problem out there, you can isolate your avatar, you can isolate your niche, and I'm telling you, you can kill it here within the online space, which is fantastic. All right, let's see. Sajib, how many classes do you run per week, and how many students are in those classes? Do they join as cohorts, or is it kind of more of an evergreen model? Great question, Trevor.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's something I was actually thinking about when I first started as well. How does this actually operate? But right now, I don't teach any classes myself. I don't have any groups myself. I have my tutors running the classes, but we have about, so I focus on GCSE and A level physics. And there are year 12 groups, there's year 13 groups, GCSE groups, probably about 8 different groups of classes in total. Not cohorts, because obviously that limits me in bringing students in and starting straight away. If a parent has reached out to me saying they need help right now, I want to give their child help right now. So I do have a way of just enrolling students into groups that would work best with them all year round. So it's more of a, yeah, whenever you need some help, you'll be fitted into one of our programs.
Absolutely. I love that you said, hey, that was something that you kind of struggled with as well. Like, how does this actually operate? Right. And guys, you might be having that same thought process. Like, I can do one-on-one, but like, how does this group thing work? Those are things that we teach you as well. I struggled for the longest time trying to figure out, well, how do I run a program that anyone can sign up to at any point for like test prep? But once I started talking to the right people that had already been doing it, it was like light bulbs start going off nonstop, which is great. And so, if that's you, just know, we pair you up with a coach coming into our programs. And again, they all run their own tutoring businesses as well. And so they're going to be a great place to gain insight and push forward from there. Let's see here. There's a few other options here just in regards to like, hey, there's another program out there, Female Entrepreneur Platform. Is this so yeah, this person with Zanya is asking like, hey, I'm torn between this program and another program out there. Is this program a 12-month program as well? I know things have changed a little bit. Just to kind of let you know what, Zanya, our accelerator program is a 16-week program. We know that if we're going to work with anybody long term, we want to go ahead and work with somebody for a shorter time to make sure that it's a great fit, that we can help you get traction. And then from there, we do have longer term engagements. And we work with clients for, well over 1, 2, 3 years as they graduate and move on to different programs based on the problems that they're seeing. Was that a good thing for you, Sajib, as you kind of came in and kind of learned the basics and took like a little bit of a test drive before you kind of moved to, Ascension and Impact?
Yeah, for sure. I think I just want to answer to some of these questions about whether to make the decision or not. It's going to be another problem that you're holding yourself back on. Like, what decision do I make? Who do I go with? What do I do? I mean, whatever decision you make, I think the best investment you can make is in yourself. Like, honestly, if I think back to how much it's maybe costed overall over the 2 years, I have more than 10 times got that back, right? So it's like it's been a no-brainer. Like, who I've become and the skills I have now, I can't really put an actual price on that, really, because it's just, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am today. And you could always think about cost and think, well, do I actually go ahead and do that? Is this worth it, or whatever it might be? Just ask yourself, is it worth you having that future that you're really looking for as well? You're not really stuck in where you are. You are standing at that door. I think we just have to be brave enough to then really say to ourselves, I'm willing to invest in myself. And that's a hard decision to make. I do get that. And I think that was one of the things I found difficult when I first joined. In fact, I saw Elliot's ad come up for months before I decided to click, but I'm so glad I did now. So I wish I just started it sooner.
Absolutely. And again, I think a lot of the times, guys, we think about maybe the financial cost of something, but at the same time, like I always look at things as the cost of not moving on something. If I always say, hey, like in order for things to change, I have to change, well, I got to put myself in an environment where I know I can get access to the roadmap. I know I can be around people that are like better than me and have higher standards than me, because then I'll elevate to those standards. And really, do I have a team around me to support me, right? Moving forward. And so, really, at the end of the day, it really comes down to like, what's the cost of not moving and being stuck where I'm at, as opposed to just going ahead and saying, yeah, like I know I want to get here to the place maybe where Sajib is, or other, clients that we have in the program, where it's like, yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer. Because again, once you learn the skills of marketing, once you learn the skills of sales, you are in business at that point. Because again, you can do it again and again and again and again. And it's just a slight minor tweak moving forward from there, right? And so, again, guys, like I said, Sajib came here because, again, he's been with us for the last couple years. And I just love having you here, man, and watching your progress. Before I go ahead and kind of dig into kind of our group launch accelerator program and what that entails, man, do you have one piece of advice that you might share with, the folks on here? We've got about 30 people on here. What's one kind of gold nugget that you might share with them?
First of all, I mean, the fact that people are here and still on this call listening in shows that you are really willing to make that change for yourself. And that is the first brave step, I would say, to say that, what's out there? What can I really do about my life? And you might feel stuck. I felt stuck, right? I wasn't sure how this would work. I wasn't sure if it would even work for me. But the thing is, you're not stuck. You have this great opportunity in front of you. You're standing at the door, right? You just have to have that first initial conversation. So ask yourself, am I in a position where I can do this? It does take a lot of commitment. I'm not going to lie to you and say that this is an overnight success. I've gone through so many struggles along the way. But if you're really someone who is willing to make that change for your life, and you are willing to actually put the work in and learn and grow from doing that, then this is an amazing opportunity, I would say, to actually change your life in that way. Start with the conversation. Simple as that. That's the advice. Start with actually having a conversation and seeing if this will work for you.
I think most of us kind of operate from a place of fear, not knowing the unknown. And a lot of times the unknown makes us feel paralyzed. Guys, I said it before, but facts to your friends. Again, regardless of where you're at, where you're trying to get to, like jump on, you can click that link. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you guys. And I know some more questions are popping in, guys. I'll definitely, if we have some time here at the end, we'll definitely answer those here moving forward. And I just want to go ahead and pop this up, make sure that everybody's kind of aware of where we're at here moving forward. So go ahead, get that there. All right. And feel free, guys, if somebody wants to go ahead and drop a yes in the chat just to let me know if this screen share is up and running, that would be great. And we'll go ahead and dig in here. But you guys have heard me say already that, we have our different programs here at the Teacher Project. And again, just to clarify, guys, the Teacher Project is a business mentorship program, okay? We do not hire tutors. We do not find students for you. We teach you how to go ahead and learn how to market, how to sell, and how to start your own online group programs. And so being able to go ahead and realize the difference is incredibly important. And like I said, within our Group Launch Accelerator program, we are really trying to help a unique person, right? And so if you are a classroom teacher or tutor who's really just like ready to say, hey, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of where I'm at in the classroom, maybe not feeling valued, maybe feeling exhausted, undervalued in the traditional school system. You want to create a business that gives you more control over your finances, over your time, and you're really ready to go ahead and move away from being underpaid, right? You know your value, you know what you're worth and what you can do. And you're at this point where you're like, hey, I want to go ahead and build an online group tutoring business to really impact more students. Because again, in the classroom, do you have all the opportunity to say who you're going to work with or not? No, right? You have to work with everybody, but I'm telling you, in this space, you become the gatekeeper. You get that control over who you're working with and who you can help. And maybe you're just like at this point where you're like, hey, Kyle, that sounds great, but I don't know how to do that. And guys, maybe you're at this point where you're like, I need a step-by-step roadmap to help me replace my salary, to be able to jump into this full time, and to have that creative control to teach on my own terms. Right? If this is resonating with anybody, type the word yes down in the chat, because again, when I think about myself 8 years ago, this was resonating with me because I was just stuck. I couldn't move. I couldn't figure out where I was going next. And so, just feeling stuck, what we have here is like you feel handcuffed to where you're at, right? And that's exactly what a lot of people are feeling like here moving forward. So again, yeah, Frank says more, please. Absolutely, Frank. Again, we love working with teachers from all over the world. And again, creating an online business, it gives you that freedom, right? Maybe you've always dreamt of being able to be mobile or to teach from anywhere, to be able to take that trip. Like that's exactly what an online business does. All right. So how's this work? Well, to do all this, guys, help you create, launch, scale your online group tutoring business. So again, you're not working, 60, 70 hours, but you're like, hey, when it's not just me, maybe I'm only working, 5 to 10 hours of delivery here moving forward. You want to teach on your own terms. This is exactly what you have to do. And it really comes down to 3 key areas here that we help our clients work on in our Group Launch Accelerator over the 16 weeks that they're in our initial program. All right, I can see already. Frank's ready to rock and roll. Nicole says, I don't feel stuck. I have a lot of variety and flexibility. And Nicole, that's fantastic, right? If that's you, I love that. Maybe you just want to start a little bit of tutoring on the side. This can work for you as well, okay? Talk about making some residual extra income to go ahead, pay off debt, do whatever you need to. this is a thing as well. And I see Maria's already interested as well. So guys, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in there. Feel free to book a call. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the three things that I really want you guys to understand leaving today's call, right? What are you going to learn inside of the Group Launch Accelerator? Well, the first thing, guys, is market positioning. And so Jib actually went ahead and he laid it out already that he was allowed to go ahead and niche down. All right. So first off, we'll be working with you one-on-one to craft that compelling offer that attracts the right students, the right parents, and doesn't put you in a place of a commodity, but puts you in a place of strength to say, I am different at the end of the day. Okay. Common mistake we see, and this happens more than I care to admit, but teachers launching their own business, right? They have trouble standing out. They have trouble being able to say, hey, I'm here, right? Because there are so many teachers trying to do the same thing, but they're just not positioning themselves correctly. All right. And so if we want to go ahead and figure out how to make ourselves, different and unique, we have to go ahead and start niching down, like Sajib said, and we call that your signature tutoring offer, right? Identifying the specific subject, identifying the specific 1 to 2 grade levels that are going to allow you to speak and pierce through the noise and talk directly to that parent, talk directly to that student, and at the same time, not just charge $5 an hour. I'm talking premium prices, all right? Maybe for a 6-week program, a 12-week program, you're charging upwards of $750, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $1,800, whatever you might feel is the right price point to get those parents across the line. You are going to see a big difference in how you're laying those things out. All right. And so this first phase, guys, really ensures that you're not going to be viewed, like I said, as that commodity where it's like a race to the bottom of the barrel to say, oh, I can do it for 20. I can do it for 15. I can do it for 10. And you've all seen that, guys. Type the word yes in the chat if you've seen somebody online say, hey, I'm looking for a tutor. And there's like 50 to 75 comments of people going, me, 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 me. I'm a tutor. I'm a tutor. I'm a tutor. And you can't break in to all of those comments and reposition yourself. We don't want you to. We want you to change the game at the end of the day. All right. And so, yeah, alongside us, guys, this just means that you can actually group students together as well. That's a key thing here. Not only can you charge premium prices, but you're targeting the same type of student so that you can easily group them. So that it's not like you have a first grader and a 10th grader, right? You have the same type of client coming in, which is going to be key. All right. So looking at that, I just want you to imagine having students who value your teaching, are eager to join your programs, and pay premium rates for the opportunity to learn from you, right? Just close your eyes and imagine that. If you are in such high demand that people are just going ahead, booking calls, and you're in a place of strength as opposed to a place of desperation, right? Where you're like, please pick me. Please pick me. No, we want you to be leaders. All right. We want you to stand on your own 2 feet. We want you to throw your shoulders back and say, I have something of value here. With that in place, guys, you'll be able to go ahead and replace your classroom salary faster and work fewer hours because we are on the right ladder at that point, right? Signature offer, group model. You're going to be in a great place now to go ahead and push on to phase 2, right? And so what is phase 2? Well, guess what? Once we attract those people using our signature tutoring offer, using the ad and student lead acquisition system that Sajib talked about to get our voice out there, well, guess what? Doesn't stop there. We got to go ahead and jump through that next hoop, which is student enrollment. How do we go ahead and move them from a lead to a paying client at the end of the day? All right. This is where so many people go wrong because, again, they're relying on what? Word of mouth marketing, right? I was there. Sajib, I know you were there as well. If you just rely on word of mouth, guys, type the number 2 in the chat. Because again, there is nothing better than a word of mouth referral. But you know what? Word of mouth, all it is just saying, hey, I could get 5 clients 1 month, and then I could have a big egg the next time, right? And being able to say, I don't want to have this variability. I want predictability is going to be the key, right? A predictable lead generation system so that you're not in this feast or famine mode. But like Sajib says, it's not about the peaks and the valleys. It's about going ahead and trying to streamline to stabilize, to get where we want to go. And you know what? This is what leads to slow growth, to burnout, ultimately to failures when we rely on just one area to get our leads from. We got to have our own system. So what are we going to do, guys? We're going to install our lead machine system into your business. That's going to help you not only get your ads up and running, but it's also going to teach you how to connect, build relationships with those leads, book them in for calls, and also close those calls at the end of the day, which is going to be super beneficial to creating that revenue that Sajib has been talking about. And essentially, guys, once we have that automated marketing system up and running, you guys are going to consistently be able to attract and sign those leads up, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal for you guys. All right. So just to go ahead and recap. So once you get the system set up, it's really going to enable you to go ahead, control and generate the steady flow of quality online leads. It's going to be able to confidently present your tutoring offer to parents, right, on those sales calls and convert those leads into paying students that aren't going to be charging, poor little tiny rates, but premium rates for your programs. All right. Guys, type the word yes in the chat if you guys are tracking with me. I know we got about 21 people on here right now. If this is resonating, if this is making sense to you, that there is a predictable process that you can install in your business, it's going to be a game changer for you guys. I can see Nicole already dropped a yes here. Who else do we have on here? I just want to see. We got Anna, we got Andre, we got Brandon, Frank, Franklin. I love it. Haroon, JCT, a bunch of people. Yeah, guys, because again, you could say, Kyle, you are off in left field. This makes absolutely no sense at all. I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing and I'm just going to keep getting what I've been getting. That's fine. But if you are in the place where you're like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm sick and tired of just waiting around. Like, I want to be in control of my business because that's what running a business is: marketing and sales, right? Cash flow coming in and you're making a profit at the end of the day. So I'm seeing a bunch more yeses. There we go, guys. I was starting to wonder whether or not I was talking to myself. All right. So yeah, what Zanya says, yes, understood. You make a lot of valid points. Absolutely. But it doesn't start or stop there, guys. Right? Because at the end of the day, all right, the end of the day, this is about student results. Okay. Because again, the one thing I'll tell you, and Sajib, you actually put this in your interview form. You said it's not about just trying to make it and get rich. It's about the impact that we can have, right? We're all teachers here. That's the beauty of the Teacher Project. We love to have an impact on the next generation, to have those light bulb moments, to create belief, to help students create confidence, right? And so guys, as you're looking at this, it's not about just making the sale at the end of the day. You know what it's about? It's about helping students get results. All right. And at this point, inside of our accelerator program, you're going to get step-by-step training on how to actually move to that new model of how do I go from one-on-one to actually teaching online group classes and not getting poorer results or less results than you were on one-on-one, but I'm talking better results, better testimonials, better reviews, students moving from point A to point B faster than they ever thought possible because you're adopting a new model. And a lot of times people have the belief that it just doesn't work, right? And so, as we're looking at this, guys, there's no doubt teaching students one-on-one may work, but it isn't scalable at the end of the day. And what we've found is that it actually doesn't even get the best results. Because if you can set up the best model and have the best resources and the best support, you are going to see your students thrive. So you can probably tell trying to fill a schedule one-on-one, guys, is challenging. I saw that as well. You run out of time really, really quick. And if that's the only thing that you're doing, your income's going to be capped, your time's going to be capped. You end up creating another job and wondering, oh my God, I'm completely burnt out, like Sajib said. Like I found myself at periods of time as well. And so, you know what? We're going to give you a full training on how to go ahead, upgrade to this new model, start getting students plugged into that model, and really take this thing to the next level so that you can be earning more revenue, working less time, and eventually start saying, hey, how do I develop a team in order for me to not even be doing delivery just like Sajib down the line? And so this model, guys, allows you to work those fewer hours without having to do the one-on-ones. And so I just want you guys to really understand that. That was a big mindset shift that I had to go through as well. All right. And so, guys, when you kind of think about how to do that, it might still be a little bit, you might still have some doubts like, Kyle, that sounds great, but like, how do I do that? Again, within the program, there are so many clients that are going to allow you to see the behind the scenes look. Our coaches allow you to see behind the scenes of their businesses as well, and how they work with 50 plus, 100 plus students at any given time, and how they scale that appropriately. All right. I'm just going to go to the chat here real quick. Let's see what we got in here. Yeah. So Zoom user says that's the integrity of teachers. The good leaders are not in it solely for the money. I love that, right? If you have a deep passion to teach, I'm telling you, you are going to kill it in business because you have a heart for people. You got a heart for solving problems. It's not about just making a buck at the end of the day. Nicole says, I'd be super happy with continuing one-on-one tutoring if my schedule was completely filling up. I still love one-on-one tutoring. Yeah, Nicole, again, is there any problem right now? No. You're probably making pretty good money at one-on-one, but I'm going to tell you, there is going to be a cap on your time because I used to work from 2 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. No lunch, no dinner, didn't get to see my wife, didn't know how I was going to have a family and have a baby because I was working. That was the bed that I made. And so there's no dig against one-on-one, but if you want to go ahead and take it more into a full-time space, a different ladder's there. If you just want to go ahead and make a little bit of extra cash on the side, you can totally do one-on-one as well. But that it all comes down to the vision that you want to go ahead and build at that point. All right. I really want to get started. Can we talk privately afterwards about that, please? Again, if you really want to go ahead and get started, guys, and you guys are excited about the opportunities here that I'm presenting, feel free to click that link. And again, I have it right up here, guys. If you go ahead and click that, it'll take you to this screen right here. And you can go ahead and just book in a short 15-minute discovery call just to kind of learn a little bit more about you. You can pick your time zone, pick a date, pick a time. One of our team members will definitely go ahead, chat with you, see if it might be a good fit for you. But just to go ahead and kind of wrap up our time here today, guys, and I'll open it up for some questions here at the end. But if you're wondering, hey, Kyle, that sounds amazing. Market positioning, I need to go ahead and figure out how to go ahead and get my student enrollment engine built. I need to figure out how to run this group model. I don't know how to do that either. Put yourself in the growth mindset, just like your students. This is exactly where we have to get in there and say, hey, there's certain things I don't know. Let me learn this. And again, guys, our programs, I would say, are the best out there if you're ready to go ahead and start running and get this thing going. Because again, when you jump into our group growth accelerator program, you're going to get so much support, guys. One-on-one coaching, we put you with a specific coach that's going to be with you throughout your entire journey. So anytime you have questions, you can reach out to them privately. It's amazing. You get one-on-one calls with them, and they have your back throughout that entire program. We also have access to our curriculum, and I have that up here as well, guys. So you'll get access to our school curriculum here. You can see we have our community, our classroom, our calendar here at the top. You can see Mike got his first sale popping in here. So Mike, if you're catching this, great job. People are posting wins. They got, questions that they might be solving here moving forward. So a lot of things show up here in the community as well as in the classroom. Plug you right into our group launch accelerator, and it'll show you exactly how to do exactly what Sajib said. Trust the process, right? Walk one step at a time with your coach, and they will guide you every step of the way on creating your offer, getting your offer and pricing set up, how to get your first student right away, how to launch your ads, scale them, follow up sales, run an organic marketing, you name it, we got it in there. And we also, again, guys, the community, I think, is one of the biggest parts of this entire program. Because again, we're all teachers. We're trying to do this on our own and be a lone wolf. It doesn't work that way, guys. I'm telling you, you put yourself around people that are doing the same thing, that are excited, sharing the struggles together, you get there so much faster. In addition to that, guys, don't worry. If you guys are tech phobic, you got some issues, we got tech sessions, we got a tech team. We're going to help you guys along the way. And our coaches are very adept with that as well. We also have our weekly coaching calls or our clinics, guys. I didn't show you this a second ago on our calendar, right? You got issues with sales, you got issues with ads. We got impact calls. We got all sorts of stuff here on the calendar to help you very specifically get the support that you need when you need it. All right. So all of that's there. And we also have essentially our all-in-one software system called Tutor Boss, which essentially helps you with all of your lead management, communication, booking calls, taking payments. So if that's something that you're like, hey, I don't want 17 different systems, I want one, that is something that we hook you up with as well. And it's completely free subscription during your time in the program. So if you guys are looking at this and you're saying, hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and jump into this. I'm sick and tired of being in the classroom. I want to go ahead, rock and roll with this. And you want an entire support system around you to go ahead, take your business from the ground level up to where Sajib is, having a full team. I'm telling you, this is the program for you guys. And you know what? It's not just any team, it's a team of educators. All right. People just like you that have already walked the path beforehand. And I don't know about you guys, but teachers have two things in common: they give and they serve. Talk about a community of people that is just going to go ahead and take the shirts off their back to go ahead and reach down and say, hey, let's get you up to the next level. I've never seen anything like it than what I've seen here at the Teacher Project. So if you guys, have heard enough and you're like, yeah, Kyle, like I want to get more information, guys, all you need to do, go ahead, click this link here down below, and I'll go ahead, I'll drop this in the chat as well. If you guys want to read through this, make sure that's a good fit there. I'll drop that entire document in there as well if you guys want to go ahead and view that guy there. All right. So looking at this, again, we want to go ahead and walk you guys through exactly where you're at. Feel free to click that link. Feel free to go ahead, talk with one of our team members, and we would be happy to go ahead and help you guys get your online group tutoring business up and off the ground. So guys, with that said, I wanted to save some time here. We got about 5 minutes here to go ahead, and I'll answer any questions that you guys have here before I got to go ahead and jump on my next call. But JCT says, thanks to Jiv for answering my questions. I love that, JCT. Glad you guys could go ahead and jump in here with us. So who do we got on here? We got about 20 people. Guys, if you're going to go ahead, click that link and find out some more information, type the word me in the chat. I'm wondering who's actually committed to this thing, changing their life, taking control, doing something different in order to go ahead and get a different result. Type the word me in the chat, guys. I'm just curious who wants to go ahead and make that change in their life. Because again, so Jib did it. I did it 5, 6 years ago. We got a Zoom user ready to rock and roll, Maria as well. Guys, get excited, because this is kind of one of those moments where you're like, that thing that I just jumped into can change my life. So Jim, man, thanks for hanging around, dude. And guys, feel free to drop any questions down below. But when you look back and you think about that first call that you jumped on with, I don't even know who you talked to, but is that how you feel, man? Because that's how I feel when I had that first call with Elliot, 5 years ago, since I joined as a client, and now I'm here, helping tutors do it themselves. But what are your thoughts, man?
I'll never forget that call. It was with Alex, I remember, and that was my life-changing moment. Because think of it this way, right? In a year or two from now, you'd either be glad that you started today, or you wish you had, right? And you just have to trust yourself, I guess. When it comes to what you're capable of, you'll be surprised at what you're capable of. And I'm glad that someone mentioned about, it's not just the wealth that you're chasing. The moment you start kind of chasing the wealth, you probably won't, if you don't have a strong purpose, you probably won't really have that desire to want to get there. So it gives you the means and the ability to do the things that you want to do. You should, that's the thing that you should chase. And I'm so glad that I did make that decision that day to actually have that conversation. And again, just being able to trust yourself that you're capable of doing this. And if someone like me, a physics teacher in a classroom who has zero experience of marketing, sales, managing all of that stuff, then if I could do it, like, come on. I'm sure there's others out there who have a strong purpose of why they want to do this, can make this a success.
Absolutely. I've said this before, Sajib, that I told Elliot, I'm so glad that I said yes. I said this at one of our live events. And guys, I didn't mention this, but the Teacher Project is an online community and a business mentorship program. But we are not just online. We have regular live events every single year. We have our next one coming up in Denver here, June 12th through the 15th. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out our student acquisition Facebook group. There's more information on that there. But again, I already got word. I think the next one might be in Costa Rica. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There could be some rumors floating somewhere. But yeah, we're so excited to go ahead and connect with people all the time, guys, and shake their hands. And again, we're family here at the end of the day. So I'm already seeing people excited about that. And the one thing I'll say here, just to close this down, because I don't see any other questions popping in, Sajib. The one thing I'll tell every single person watching this right now, because we got about 19, 20 people still in here. If you guys want to change your life, If you guys want to do something different that's going to take you to a different place personally in your business, you can't go in 50-50, right? If you got 1 foot out and 1 foot in and you jump into a program and you're like, it better work, but you're not in, you're not invested, you're not committed, you're not carving out the time, you're not saying this is important to me, that this is a priority, you will go through the program and you will be one of those people that it just doesn't work for, right? But I'm telling you that people that come in, that go ahead, make the investment, and then they make the investment of their time to say, I'm going to utilize this. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to go to the clinic. I'm going to go to the office hour. I'm going to chat with my coach every day. There is no doubt in my mind that you guys will have an amazing, thriving business and then be in a position to help the person that just came into this program. But you got to go all in. You got to commit. You got to say, yep, I am done with the old and I am starting the new. And the only reason that I'm being so hard in this moment to like share that with you guys is because as client success director, I get to see every single client that comes in and I see the attitudes and I see the personalities and I see what people expect, but then they might not put the work in. We got to ask ourselves the same question. Does every student that we work with get that result? No, we've worked with a lot of students that maybe didn't do their homework, that didn't show up to class, that made the excuses. And I'm just telling you, if we're going to lead, have amazing businesses that lead amazing students, we got to walk the walk first. We can't just expect it to happen without putting in the work, like Sajib says. We got to do it first. We got to invest. We got to commit. And I'm telling you, you guys are one decision away from changing your life at the end of the day. All right? I love it. Frida says he's tired of traveling one-on-one. Must get this. Make it happen, Frida. Click that link, book that call. Zoom user says 100%. Guys, become the leaders that you ultimately know you need to be in order to run the business. That's what Sajib does. That's what everybody up in our impact program, our group launch accelerator, our extension program. This is a change in identity at the end of the day.